What's up, family? Welcome to the very first inaugural episode of the DAGLife Podcast here at the Dean Aguilar Group in San Diego, California, hosted by myself. And today's very first episode, we're going to be welcoming a very special guest, a good friend of mine, a mentor who took me under his wings when I started with the team over 3 years ago, the Director of Sales and the Hiring Manager, Mr. Gil Reynoso. Obviously, we tell everyone about DAGLife. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you got into real estate.
It's fun to actually be here. How I actually got into real estate was I actually got fired from Sony. And I decided, hey, look, even with a big corporation such as Sony, everybody's expendable. So I decided to kind of make a transition into real estate, and that's how I got into it, my man.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, Sony. So tell me a little bit about your journey at Sony and where that transition to make you think, okay, real estate's the best move to go.
The transition to Sony, how I actually landed at Sony was, it's a funny story. Born and raised in Riverside. And we were actually driving down here. When Sony was they had a big corporation, or I should say a big corporate office right off the 15. I'd seen it and I decided, I don't know how I'm going to, work for them. But I just said, hey, one of these days I'm going to work for them. I was a big Sony fanboy, PlayStation, car stereo, all that good stuff. And that's what I decided to do. But again, I had not lived out here at that point. And just fate kind of kicked in, man. I was in retail for quite some time, and the opportunity presented itself where I can kind of be part of the retail division in Sony, and that's how I landed. And that's kind of that's a wrap. I was there for about 4 years, and then they canned 3,200 people on one day, and I was one of them. And I decided, hey, let's just give this real estate stuff a shot.
Love that, dude. Everything happens for a reason. Obviously, we all have our journey of getting into real estate. What would you say is the toughest adjustment or the easiest adjustment for you going from Sony to real estate?
Honestly, I think the sales aspect was obviously a given, kind of especially in the retail division. But the hardest portion is, such as if you're looking at on a corporate side, is obviously you got name, brand, and recognition, right? So you got consumers that are very much, used to a certain product. And I think coming into real estate, you really got to identify with that, meaning you are your own product and you're kind of just chasing your own consumer, one client at a time. But I think that was the biggest area of opportunity where I didn't really understand. Because again, my first 3 years in the business were a complete wash, just because I literally didn't know anything about anything.
Right.
And I think that was the hardest part, was just really understanding how to navigate the actual landscape of what real estate is.
And I think we can all agree that for everybody getting into real estate, that's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
We don't know until we find the home or place that's going to help us understand those things. So since we're both at DAG together, what ended up making you choose the Dean Aguilar Group to begin with, and what has been your experience since day one? Because you've been here for a hot minute.
Yeah, I've been going on 5 years now, so it's been an amazing journey. But honestly, the thing that got me was Dean's ad, and it said, "Hey, do you want to make $100,000?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to make $100,000." And I wasn't making $100,000 at Sony, and I wasn't making it at the after that job. Just to let you know, I ended up going back into kind of corporate America, and I wasn't making $100,000 there either. So I just went into the fact of I want to make $100,000, and that's really what got me into the team. I actually came on my lunch break. It was supposed to be a 30-minute lunch, and was there for about 2 hours, ended up signing documents and so forth, and never left since, man.
Never went back.
Never went back, bro.
Well, dude, that's epic.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How long have you been here now?
5 years in August.
5 years, okay. Mm-hmm. So what is one thing that you think you take away from being at DAG that's had the biggest impact on your life so far? So
honestly, I like I said, when I first started out in real estate, I thought I had to know everything about contracts and all of that good stuff that I think a lot of beginning agents really think about. You think you truly got to understand every piece of paperwork that there is, and there's a lot of them, as you know, right?
Right, of course.
But honestly, if you never know how to actually get a client, you'll never get to the contract piece. So that was the biggest thing that I actually try to learn very early on, when I joined DAG, mm-hmm. Just because I didn't know what I didn't know. But again, I just needed opportunities, and that was a big thing that, DAG had provided, which was, some of the lead sources that we're able to provide as a team, which, we're blessed to have that, to be quite honest with you. But I think it was just really trying to get in front of as many people as I could. And then just kind of use your personality and obviously skill set to kind of move that kind of relationship along.
Right. Okay, I love that. And obviously, in terms of making that transition and getting into real estate, a lot of people, us included, always think is we need to know all the ins and outs. When at the beginning of it, we just need to know how to create relationships and generate clients, right? So
yeah,
obviously, that's one thing that we focus on here as a team as the number one goal in terms of building that rapport relationship. In terms of the landscape for 2024, what is one thing that you're looking forward to the most from the team component that we've built here?
I'm super excited. Obviously, I still produce, probably not as much as I did when I first joined the team. Obviously, just in the role that I am now and the capacity that I have. But team wise, I mean, I'm looking forward to us hitting $500 million in sales volume. I'm a volume driven individual for the team, and I think you kind of know where I'm going with this. It's like you got some individuals that are unit focused. Some that are volume focused, and for me personally, it's always like it's volume is what equals dollars into your bank account ultimately. So again, for me, the team to the $500 million mark, hopefully by the end of the year, is going to be the biggest opportunity for us. Personally, though, I still want to continue to focus on hopefully creating value to my sellers. I still want to continue to kind of focus on listings. Do not get me wrong, I love all my buyers as well, but I think at certain points in your career as you go through this journey, I think everybody enjoys like the listings, right? You feel like you control the transaction a little bit more and so forth. And so again, I want to continue to kind of help grow my listing business.
Right, and correct me if I'm wrong. You have a couple listings in the pipeline right now, right? What do you currently have at the moment?
Got one in the San Ysidro area.
Okay.
So again, last year was probably my biggest year of listings ever. So that was great. And again, I think I would really want to just build off of last year and kind of continue the momentum this year. Not to mention, obviously, the Seller Connection program that we are literally crushing right now here in California and in San Diego, right? From Zillow. So the Zillow Seller Connection program is a huge opportunity that I continue to want to be successful at as well. But yeah, that's what I think that's what I'm just really most excited about.
In terms of where you're at now in your journey, what is something that you would look back on your 18-year-old self and tell them to, one, be prepared for, or any bit of advice to get you to where you are now?
Dude, that's just like a super loaded question. I always say, look, there's two dream jobs that I think I wish I would have had, and one I'm living it right now, to be quite honest with you. So one of two is not bad. But if I can go back to 18-year-old self, I definitely would want to be like a fighter jet pilot. Literally like the F-22 Raptor. I think that would be my dream job of kind of flying that mean machine. But going back to it, if I can still talk to my younger self, and whether I was again that fighter jet pilot or again that younger real estate agent, I think would just to be invest in real estate as early as you can. I think the biggest misconception is that you have to really kind of like own a property, invest in real estate.
Right.
Especially now, I think a lot of individuals out there that can really just even dabble at purchasing, whether it's like stock companies that are again investing within the real estate space. Like I think there's still a lot of growth in those type of companies where you can still put small amounts of money that are still going to build that wealth still within the real estate space. But yeah, if you definitely have the funds and capability of purchasing a property, whether that's a single family home, a condo, a duplex, whatever that case may be, I wish I would told myself, hey, let's get into this game a lot earlier, because I'm just looking at clients that had got into the game even in 2020 and seen some of that appreciation in gains that they've seen over those past couple of years, man. So that is that's probably the thing that I would tell myself.
In terms of obviously the investment component, I think we can all agree that one of the common misconceptions about real estate is that everyone's always trying to time the perfect time, right? Crystal ball, perfect time to time the market. In terms of like circumstance, that's the most important thing. So in terms of like the circumstances that you speak with your clients about, whether it's buyers or sellers, and a niche market that you're trying to focus on other than just listings, what does that look like for you for this year? Because I know a lot of your business, a lot of your clientele are investors, and for them, it's always about numbers.
Yeah.
So what does that look like?
Again, the question that I think we all get asked a lot is like, hey, when's the perfect time? Honestly, I always lean on the fact of, look, two things are going to happen next month if you don't, want to be homeless, right? One, your money is either going to go to you or it's going to go to somebody else, like whether that's, a landlord or, property management company, whatever the case may be. Your money is going to go somewhere if you're not looking to, be homeless next month, right? And I always just tell my clients, if you're comfortable renting and that payment makes sense, then continue to rent. Like, again, the space needs that as well, right? Because again, if there wasn't that, there wouldn't be investors, right? Let's be honest. But again, if you have the means and you're able to, like, yeah, I think you do got to sacrifice sometimes, especially like I said, here in California, at least, I know it can be quite expensive. But I think that's the biggest thing for most of my clients is if they can see the big picture, right? Which is like, this is just a starting point for a lot of them. And then if you can kind of just picture yourself in a certain starting point for a couple of years, then yes, and then you can kind of graduate to that dream home or that upgrade or whatever the case you want, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's just really getting in the game if you're able to. And I always tell my clients, like, hey, look, if you're qualified, like you went through the pre-approval process and they've ran all the numbers for you and they give you a pre-approval letter, there's tens of thousands of people in this country that wish they can be in your spot.
That's not an option for.
That's not an option for. And whether or not you want to take that and kind of run with it and take that opportunity and really seize it, that's really on them. Again, I don't like to think that I sell houses because I truly believe that, once my clients, find the house, they feel it's the one, like I feel the house finds them, right? So again, I don't really see myself as obviously selling houses any way, shape, or form. It's really just about protecting them once we decide, hey, this is the house, and then how do we get to the finish line? So that's where I come in. Like, that's my job. But I feel like I get to do all the fun stuff, man, which is like, hey, let's go see some houses and stuff. I always say, hey, it is a team effort. You got to have like a solid, reputable lender partner on your side, on the other side, right? Because that's your money guy or girl, right? And I feel they're more important than me, to be quite honest with you, man, because they're the ones giving you the money. But again, I kind of get to do the fun stuff, which is like, let's go see some houses and see how pretty they look, or maybe not so pretty, right?
And also keep our clients protected.
Yeah, 100%, man, throughout the way. But I think that's really where where I try to tell my clients is like, again, as we both know, real estate is it's cycles, right?
Ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys.
Yep. So again, as long as you're gonna stick in the house for a few years, you're gonna be fine at the end. Again, there's only a finite amount of homes out there.
Right.
So again, at least in San Diego, it's pretty tough to build, as we both know. So again, here in San Diego, like I said, we're in a pretty unique market. I think we're pretty blessed, but I know it can be tough for a lot of them. But if you're willing to go through the journey and sometimes a little bit of pain, let's be honest, the end result's worth it.
Of course, and I think when we talk about circumstance and opportunity, it's always depending on everyone else's circumstance. It's never ours, right? It's always about the individual client, whether or not their specific circumstance makes sense for them to make the move now, later, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever that looks like. In terms of, obviously from us, in terms of never selling anything, it's always just information to give and provide and advise on and educate on. In terms of, obviously, a lot of people, especially first-time buyers, it's always about building that generational wealth, whether it's the first time, second time, third time, and really trying to leave a legacy behind for their family. So we talk about legacy here a lot, right? It's something that's super important to all of us as a team, especially Dean and Afroditi. In terms of legacy for you, a man that's married, a man with 3 kids, what would you say a goal of yours is to leave behind for your legacy?
It's funny with legacy. I mean, it's such a big and I feel like dynamic word. But for me, it's I guess there's like, of course, the family legacy, right? Like, you always want to kind of leave your family in a better position than you were kind of given. And I had a pretty unique upbringing, and I wasn't like I said, I won't say I wasn't blessed, but I didn't have a lot of the opportunities that maybe other individuals had. But nonetheless, obviously there's that piece. But I think in the legacy, at least in the world we live in, is just like, I honestly just want to help as many people I can in real estate, whether that's new team members that are coming in trying to get into real estate, right? There's that piece. But then it's also for the kind of the individuals that are outside the team. Like, I'm always willing to help as much as I can on the other side, because I know what it was like to get into this business, man, and how tough it could be. And I sometimes feel like, I feel pretty blessed again to be here as part of Real, One Real, as we say, right? But it wasn't that experience when I first started, which was very much like, hey, if I tell you something, you're taking away from my business. Right. And so I'm not going to tell you my secret sauce. So it was very much like a lone wolf mentality out there.
Every man, woman eats for themselves.
Yeah. So I think once I got into once I joined the team, my biggest thing was like, I just want to share whatever little wins or big wins that I was getting at whatever given point, because I wanted that next individual to win. And I think that's like a legacy that I would like to continue. And again, it's just like, how do I help the next person, kind of go through this journey? Because if I can save them a little bit of pain, I mean, that's ultimately what I would hopefully want to save them as much pain as I possibly can.
Yo, listen, dude, thank you for joining on the very first episode of the DAGLife Podcast here at the Dean Aguilar Group headquarters. Very excited to see where we can take this thing here with the team. Really appreciate everything that you were able to share with us today, kind of about your journey, what you're focused on, and something that's super important to you as a legacy building for your family, trying to help people. So thank you guys for checking out the very first episode of the DAGLife Podcast here at the Dean Aguilar Group. We'll see you guys next time.